Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back. This is going to be our final review, or final thoughts and review, seeing as how we've got all the upgrades done to this Mac Mini that we're going to do to it. So I've got 2 gigs of RAM in this thing now. Can't do a darn thing about the video. It's still stuck at 64 megabytes of video. And we do have a 250 gig SSD drive in here. Wow, what a difference over mechanical, eh? Everybody knows that. Hey, gotta go SSD and everything. I don't know why they still make mechanical hard drives anymore. They're useless. So anyways, we're not chewing up a lot of space yet, and we still got more programs in here. So I'm only using 23.5 gigs of space. I still got 216 gigs free. So that's not too shabby. Did find a lot more games and some newer ones that actually work. Biker Boy Light, pool game. I got Blackthorn in here, Heretic, both Dooms. Of course, you guys already knew I had Chromag Marathon that has all the marathons in it. They all work great on this thing. Hexen and Hexen Death Kings, Ani, the original Quake, Rise of the Triad, Serious Sam First Encounter. Now, there's a fun game. And, of course, original Castle Wolfenstein 3D. So, really super cool. I'm really enjoying playing games on this thing. Biker Boy is one thing I got to tell you about, because you can get that currently on the App Store. You have to run graphic quality at fast, and do not exceed 1600 by 900 for resolution. Otherwise, the biker himself spazzes out, among other things that go weird. But you can play it like this, and it plays just great, and it's still a fairly big screen. Now, I'm using a 27-inch screen that's going from DVI to HDMI converter cable off the back of the Mac Mini. So I'm fine for the main screen, but for playing this game, I actually can't push it beyond this, but it still works because it's also doing picture-in-picture at the same time, which I really don't get why they do that, but... Oh! I crashed them. Works fine though. Great game. You guys have seen me play Quake on this thing before, so nothing new there. You see me play Marathon and Chromag. Great games, great graphics, and and even Chromag Rally, 32-bit, and I can play it at full resolution. Some games will, some won't. This one actually plays right up to 1080p.
Ready, set, go! Coding!
Aw, man. Seriously? These guys are out for blood.
Sticky tires activated!
I missed my NOS. Let's see if I can... Oh, somebody already grabbed the NOS. There we go. Whee! Yeah, just try not to hit a tree when you're doing nitro. But, yeah, it works fantastic. Great game. Loving it. So, anyways, and yeah, let's fire Quake for a second. So, you can't upgrade the video any, but, upgrading the RAM to the max and putting an SSD in, definitely recommend it. The CD-ROM in it is a DVD reader, so it reads CDs and DVDs, but it only burns CDs. So I have an external DVD burner on here as well, so this way I can burn DVDs if I want to, which is great. And one of the best programs I like actually for doing burning with is Toast.
You have taken the lead.
So this game runs fantastic. Oh, you're still in one piece? Not anymore. Now you're in pieces. The game is awesome. I love this game. I have so much fun with it. And it runs so quick. Oh, I missed her. Missed him too. Anyway, you get the idea. So as far as games go, it's a great little gaming machine, especially for older games. It runs fantastic. You know, it's like, wow. It's 64 megabytes of video too. Now with running Snow Leopard on here, which is what I have. Once you install Snow Leopard, by the way, you can also do a custom install and install Rosetta and QuickTime 7, which I did. But either way, even without those, you still get boot camp. So you can run Windows 7 on this thing without any problem, because the highest version Windows you can run on Snow Leopard will be Windows 7. The minimum is like Windows XP. But 32-bit versions only. Okay, this is a 32-bit dual-core 1.66 gigahertz Intel processor. That is the only real drawback to this machine. If it was 64-bit Intel, it would be perfect, and I could still get some modern-day browsers to work with this thing to get me even more surfing access. However, you still have the same dilemma problem, is because it's an out-of-date OS, yeah, you have no security on the internet, okay? So don't sign into anything unless you're using like fake IDs and stuff. Then okay, maybe you can do that. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, you can go on a fair amount of websites. The App Store works fine. You have access to the App Store with Snow Leopard, so you can download stuff that you've downloaded on another Mac and see what stuff works, what doesn't. That's how I found out about Biker Boy working. I actually have Biker Boy on my late 2015 iMac with Big Sur, and it runs on this thing. And I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. Same as my pool game. But yeah, if you go to like Mac Repository or Macintosh Garden, between those two websites, there's boatloads of everything imaginable for software. Whether you're into desktop publishing, movie stuff, music, video games, word processing programs, whatever, it's there. Now there is no Mac OS 9 support, by the way, for running Mac OS 9 backwards compatible or OS 9 apps. If there are OS 9 apps that were ported into 10, then that's fine. But otherwise, yeah, you're not running OS 9 stuff. So anyway, that's why I also have a G4 tower on the floor with OS 9 on it, so I can run OS 9 everything, and I got tons and tons of stuff on that thing. It's crazy. But yeah, it runs for video gaming. It's a great little gamer system, and it's great for doing a lot of other stuff, even nowadays. You know, the big thing is the internet part kind of really sucks a bit, but hey, it's the way it goes. Now, MaxFan Speed Control, you can get a 32-bit version that'll work on this Mac, and I highly recommend doing that. And I'll tell you why, because if you don't want your computer to thermal throttle, especially when you're pushing that graphics, well, if you want to call it a graphics processor very hard, you don't want to thermal throttle stuff. And so I found the sweet spot for this one at actually 4,000 RPM as a constant value. Now, it won't go any higher than 4,000, okay? But it stays right at 4,000. So I don't like to do sensor control and I don't want to give it automatic access, because, you know, once you do start to thermal throttle, it's not going to cool down fast enough to get away from the problems of thermal throttling and what happens. So if you do it ahead of time and you're at 4,000, in this case of this Mac Mini, then you're not going to thermal throttle this processor. Believe me, I've tried. Even my MacBook Air, I have a 2013 model. It's actually, let me just, I have so many different versions of computers. I have the mid-2013, which has a fan, and it maxes at 6,500. Its sweet spot is actually at about 4,500. And I cannot seem to thermal throttle it, and it runs Big Sur. Mind you, it's got 1.5 gigs of video, but it only has 4 gigabytes of RAM. And I upgraded the hard drive in it as well. And I cannot thermal throttle that MacBook Air. I am so happy about that, because My 2020 Air didn't matter. Thermal throttled like crazy. Anyways, so yeah, definitely recommend this program for any Mac user, and of course any Windows computer that has the sensors and has the ability for max fan control to work and control things. This is a good program, because if you have like multiple fans like this late 2007 iMac has 3 fans, you control each fan independently. Right? You got one fan for your CD-ROM, one fan for your hard drive, and the other fan does your power supply and processor. So that takes care of everything, including your video, I guess, in that as well, in that area. Now, putting a camera on this thing, your maximum resolution on, even with a 1080p camera that I have on here, is going to be 640 by 480. If you try to go to maximum, you get the black screen of death. And so you still get audio, but no video. So it can't really go that high because of the lack of video RAM. If we had 128 megs of video RAM, then we could probably get to 720p as the maximum, but we're still not going to get 1080. We need a lot more horsepower for 1080. So that's something that I found out on this too. Anyways, as far as the rest of it goes, I think it's a fantastic computer. I would rate this machine in a grand total scheme of things. If you upgrade the RAM to 2 gigs, which is the max, and you also put an SSD drive in this thing, something a lot larger than the 60 gig mechanical that came with it, then you're going to have definitely a fantastic machine. But even as is, it comes with a half a gig of RAM from the factory. Somebody did put a 1 gig DIMM in here with the 256 to give a gig and a quarter, which was more than sufficient, but I figured I got the RAM here, why not just max it and get it over with, because I got to take it apart in pieces anyways just to change the hard drive. And believe me, you got to take it. It's interesting to do a Mac Mini, but it's actually not that bad. Anyways, so if you want to clone your hard drive, which you're probably going to want to do, you're not going to want to sit there and reload your hard drive that you already have, especially if you're going to upgrade. Get yourself, I have the Wavelink docking station, which supports not only this size of laptop drive, also supports the full-size hard drives in each slot. Now you can do one-touch cloning for PC, but it doesn't work so well for Mac, but it even doesn't even work that well for PC. But what I do is I just throw my drive in here. So this is now a blank drive. This is the original factory drive out of this Mini. So I put it in here. It's going to mount on my desktop. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into our utilities folder to disk utility. And we're going to use that. And this is how you're going to clone your drive. Okay, so you want to go to Macintosh HD. Okay, click on Restore. Click on the HD. Don't click on the main drive unit itself. Just on Mac HD. That's what I named my drive. You can name your hard drive whatever you want, by the way. Drag it to here after you've clicked Restore. That's your image source. And then you click on Untitled, which is our drive here in the dock. You slam that over here, and then you just click Restore and let it go until it's done. It's going to take a while, okay? But once it's done, you've just done a perfect clone of the drive. Then you quit out of your program. You eject this to the trash because that's in the dock. It's gone. Now you can safely remove the device, rip apart your Mac Mini, throw in your new drive. That's it. It's that simple. Okay. Disk Utilities works perfect for doing the restore feature when you're going to clone a Mac hard drive. Now that feature is not going to be supported in newer Macs anymore. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. But in the older Mac OSs and Macs, it works perfectly fine. So in newer Macs, you're going to want to use something like Carbon Copy Cloner. Carbon Copy Cloner, by the way, will not work on this one, at least not version 3. If they have anything lower than 3, I didn't get to it on the site, but I figured, you know what, if Disk Copy can do it, why bother installing a program to do it? You know, like, Disk Copy does it just perfectly fine, so, you know, easy peasy. Anyway, other than that, I mean, it's a fantastic unit. So I would say 4.5 out of 5 is my final verdict. But you're definitely going to want to max out the RAM and put an SSD drive in this for the best overall experience and extra hard drive space and faster loading times for the OS. Fast loading times too for your programs. There's iMovie. You know, it goes up pretty quick. GarageBand will go pretty quick as well. A little bit more raunchier program, but you know, it's going to go up pretty quick too, so no big deal. And you can run GarageBand on this and still use this as recording software. And it does a pretty darn good job for an older version program for recording. I'm quite impressed with it. So that's pretty neat. And then if you have a camera on here, you know, you can use like programs like Photo Booth as well. And you know, and do your different effects and all that sort of stuff. And you know, we got the pencil crayon drawing thing. We got the glow, which is kind of dumb. We got thermal camera, which, yeah, thermal, yeah, it's not thermal nothing. It's a fake out. Comic book, that's kind of interesting. Pop art, you know, the list goes on. And there's lots of other ones. You just click on the tabs here, and you can get to other different features as well. You know, mirror, stretch, fisheye, light tunnel, all that jazz. Anyway, so cool little program. QuickTime works too, like I said. You can use QuickTime Player, just do a regular movie recording, or straight audio, you know, it's up to you. You know, but again, like I said, you have that quality restriction. On high quality, we're at 640 by 480. On medium, we're at 320 by 240. On maximum, it says best for post-processing, device native, or minimally compressed media data in large files, but we get the black screen of death. We have no choice. It's not going to come away from the black screen of death. We'll still get audio, but we don't get any picture at all. So that part really kind of sucks. I was kind of hoping it would go to the maximum level, but it doesn't. And it's like, well, that kind of dogs. But hey, if it had 128 megs of video, it probably would do the maximum. Anyhow, that's all I got for you guys. So pick up a Wavelength Station 2, because that's also going to increase an extra 2 USB ports down here. Though they are 3.0 ports, they're only going to run at 2.0 speeds. Then you got 2 charge ports. Stay away from the one-touch duplicating system, because it doesn't work with the beans. But then you do have 2 hard drive ports. You can put one here, one there, whether it's a laptop or a full-size drive. As long as it's SATA bus, you're fine. You know, and for cloning your internal drive, definitely would recommend it. But otherwise, yeah, you got 4 ports out the back. You've got your FireWire 400. You've got your DVI main port. My cable that came with it was DVI to HDMI conversion cable, so I'm HDMI screen input. You know, you've got your line in and your headphone jack out. I'm running my sound out to a stereo system that's underneath my table to give me some really loud sounds for, you know, playing games and stuff and disturbing the peace with. You know, otherwise, yeah, it's a great little machine. I really like it. So that's where I'm at. That's my final verdict. 4.5 out of 5 is the top end for this thing. And it is what it is, you know. It's a great little unit. Now, what would you pay for this? 50 to 75 Canadian top end. That's it. Everymac.com thinks it's worth between 75 to 150 US dollars. That's ludicrous. It's not worth that kind of money. It's worth 50 to 75 dollars Canadian tops. Okay, that's it. Because even the Bluetooth part of it, for Bluetooth, it's like 2.0, I believe, on this thing. So you're kind of stuck with Bluetooth keyboards like this Logitech, the smaller brother to this. The big brother is like the full-size keyboard. And you can, you know, simultaneously go up to 3 devices with any of them. But these are the only keyboards on the market that seem to work so far. I'm having a heck of a time trying to find a normal Bluetooth keyboard, let alone a Bluetooth mouse, right? So I'm kind of stuck with a wired $4 one from the mouse from the dollar store that works great. But if you want to go with a wireless mouse and wireless keyboard, you can do that with any USB dongle system. But you're taking up one USB port for the keyboard, one for the mouse, and then you've only got 2 ports left to use. So that's another reason why I have a hub to extend those ports access. But for example, this Microsoft Bluetooth, it ain't going to work. It won't work on this system at all. It won't even work on my 2007 iMac. So it needs a newer computer with version 4 or above, right? And that's where you're going to find the majority. Now, real Apple keyboards that are Bluetooth and real Mac mice that are Bluetooth, they will work on the Mac Mini. They will work on the 2007 iMac or any Mac computer that has Bluetooth, regardless of its version. They work. So that's at least reassuring. If you want to stick with real Apple stuff, you can, and still stay all Bluetooth that way. Frees up all your USB ports. Anyway, that's it. That's all. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave your comments below, and if you really liked the video, give it a good thumbs up. Stay tuned for more. I've got more stuff on the way coming to you guys. I have no idea yet what, but we're coming up with stuff. So that was it for the final verdict on this thing. Great little machine, especially now that it's pretty much maxed out. Other than the hard drive, I could have gone to a terabyte, but I don't need a terabyte and something like that. Anyway, see ya.